Hello friends, I'm Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another episode in the creature feature vlog series. This series kind of started by accident. I was wanting to read a bunch of stuff about like mermaids one time. I had a bunch on my TBR shelf, so I read that. Then I can't even remember what else I did. I know there's been a werewolf one. There's been a shark one. Sometimes they're real creatures, sometimes they're mythical. There's been a dinosaur vlog. Today is about dragons. The point of the series is to read stuff I don't normally read. So I'm not doing like vampires, I'm not doing fairies because that's something that I already read regularly and know that I like. I didn't know when I started the mermaid vlog if I liked a mermaid book. I didn't know if I could like a dinosaur book, and I don't think, this is the one I feel strongest about, I don't think I like dragons. I don't know if I can fully explain why. I just know that growing up, my mom's bookshelf, where I got most of my reads from, it was the school library or my mom's bookshelf for more adult stuff because we got banned from the public library. Borrowing 27 books and then not returning them and then getting late fees and then not going to collections. It's a tale as old as time. But on my mom's bookshelf, she had horror and she had fantasy. And there was a couple times where maybe I would try to pick up some of her fantasy and I didn't want anything to do with it, so I stuck with her horror, which is why I give her all the credit or blame for my obsessive love of horror. It's not dragon exclusive. I think I just have a general dislike for like mythical creatures. I don't really want to read about centaurs and I don't know, trolls and like gremlins. I didn't care to read them, especially growing up. I was very much a realistic fiction girl or horror, but most of the horror that I liked went into the realistic fiction area. I almost never watched fantasy television or movies. My family was really into it. My friends were always into it. It's just not for me. But today I'm going to explore dragon-y books that I think I could like. There have been a couple dragon adjacent books over the years that I've liked, but they were very much like a side plot. Like it wasn't about riding a dragon or flying around or like fighting a dragon or anything like that. There are dragon books I believe I could like, but they're not going to be the traditional high fantasy dragon books that like everybody is in love with. I have 10 to 12 dragon books I'm going to try out, and I'm gonna commit to like finishing at least 3 of them in this vlog. There are ones that have been directly recommended to me by you guys who know my reading taste. A Natural History of Dragons sounds like something that would be up my alley if I'm gonna like a dragon book. To Shape a Dragon's Breath sounds like it could be good. When Women Were Dragons, and I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. I picked out 3 for myself that I think I could like. Dragonfruit. This is like sea dragons. I picked up the Baby Dragon Cafe, which is getting terrible reviews, but I think it could be the cozy like fantasy that I'm looking for. And then Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame. This is a brand new release. It's a novella. And here's the thing, even if the subject matter or the genre isn't something I typically gravitate towards, a novella always is a good idea for me because no matter what is happening in the story, it's over so quickly, and I think I can appreciate high fantasy in this type of scenario. So this is one that I have a really high expectation for. Then I do have some more traditional dragon. Actually, I've heard that this isn't super heavily in dragons, but there's a dragon on the cover. This is the Priory of the Orange Tree. My mom recommended me the White Dragon. This looks like something from her bookshelf that I recognize from when I was a child. This one, Tess of the Road, I've actually had for years and I don't know why I bought it. And then I grabbed The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making because there's a dragon and I've liked books from this author before. All right, I am starting out the vlog with Dragonfruit. The glare, you can see it. For one, because I think sea dragons are a good introduction for me to get into dragon books because I like oceany water creature things. And 2, it is AANHPI month, Asian American Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I think it just used to be AAPI. I don't know if they added more letters or if people have just called it like a condensed version over the years, but I've definitely noticed that people, me included, miss out on talking about the Pacific Islander section of that in the same way when people talk about like LGBTQIA as a group of people, like intersex people are often left out of like actual recommendation lists, or when you're talking about BIPOC, a lot of people are leaving out the indigenous portion of it. So I wanted to make sure I was reading a Pacific Islander author. This is Oh, and I'm gonna make sure I pronounce the name correctly because that's respectful. Let's see how close I am. I wanna say Micaiah Lucier. Okay, my internet is not working, and I need to get this clip filmed before the boys come back with my dragon fruit smoothie, because Booster Juice just introduced a dragon fruit smoothie and a dragon fruit booster ball. I don't think I'm gonna like the booster ball, but the dragon fruit smoothie is pretty much exactly what I already get, just with added dragon fruit. I was gonna go to the grocery store and see if I could find dragon fruit, but I know myself, and it would be a waste because I don't like dragon fruit. There was a time when Liam was like 4 and we were trying out I think I vlogged the experience. We were trying out like all of the fruits like around the world we've never tried before. We had durian, I had passion fruit for the first time. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the dragon fruit. I just didn't find that it had like a lot of flavor. But anyway, dragon fruit in this context doesn't actually mean dragon fruit. It means eggs, dragon eggs. So they're these sea dragons, and they have eggs called dragon fruit. That's what the people refer to it as. And they supposedly have some sort of like powers, like healing ability. And so everybody wants to collect these dragon eggs. And our main character is Honolly, and she comes from this island, but she's been missing for like 10 years. Her father stole some dragon fruit to help someone, and other people needed help, and it was this big issue. And the people of the island have been collecting dragons, the sea dragons. There's like 50 of them that they have in this lagoon that they're kind of protecting, but also like they want their eggs, but they will not produce eggs in this lagoon, maybe because they're in captivity. They're still trying to figure that out. Sam is a part of royalty, and him and Honolly were friends when they were children, and she's been gone for like 10 years, and she just comes back at the beginning of the book. We're following her journey. She's been through a lot of traumatic circumstances, but also she spends her time researching the sea dragons, learning everything about them. She knows more than like anyone, and she sends her research to schools. And Sam thought she was dead all of these years, so when she comes back to the island, everyone has a different reaction to her, and maybe she can impact their like dragon situation in a positive way, I guess. I don't really know where the plot's gonna go from there, but I imagine she's gonna teach them more about the sea dragons. There's gonna be some struggles for power. I believe this is a matriarchal island, so Sam cannot be in charge, but maybe if he marries Honolly or however that's gonna work. So I think we're gonna see them fall in love and then help the dragons, gain things from the dragons. They're going to heal whoever needs to be healed, and I'm halfway through already. I'm liking the plot. I think it's been well described. It is YA. I find it to be an easy, understandable read, and with perfect timing, the boys are back. The boys are back. The boys are back. Oh, thank you so much. So even though I don't love dragon fruit as an independent fruit, I think just added to what I already get, it'll probably be delicious. Thank you. Did you get one for yourself?
I already ate it.
You already ate it? You don't want to try it on camera with me?
No, I've already had it like 7 times.
You have?
Yeah.
That just tastes like chocolate.
Yeah, it just tastes like red velvet. It's good though. It's nice and smooth. I like that it's not chunky like the rest of them. Mm-hmm. You don't like it?
Mm-mm. Does everyone want to try my smoothie?
Okay.
I don't know if I like it. I don't hate it. It tastes very earthy. Close your eyes. Really let it sink in.
Really letting the palate diverge. I'm letting my palate, what's the word?
Right.
Pull apart the flavors.
Oh, okay. Tell them what you get.
Matcha. So much matcha.
Why is it purple though?
Blueberries. Blueberries, matcha, and
say that again. I was
powder.
sucking on the lid.
Matcha, blueberries, banana, and 30 grams of protein powder.
Okay, I haven't read any more of my book. We were just going out to eat. But for the dragon theme, I thought I would get dragon beard candy. I was actually looking online to see if I could find it anywhere, and I couldn't, besides like homemade stuff. But we were at the mall, and I saw this, and I was like, perfectly on theme. I've always thought it was really interesting to watch people make it on like TikTok. It's like strands, and you just like keep pulling, and it keeps getting thinner and thinner until it's like, it's almost like cotton candy. Isn't that so interesting looking? Anyway, I think it's gonna be gross, but oh gosh, I'm excited to try it. Okay, it is like cotton candy, but it also tastes like puff pastry, like phyllo dough, like shredded phyllo that you'd find in like Dubai chocolate that I just made. This just feels like that. Also like the messiest thing on the planet. I want to show you. Okay, anyway, Rob literally just cleaned the Jeep. Dragon beard candy, who wants a bit?
I'll take all of it.
You take a bigger piece, I think.
I take some.
Oh, God, that is sweet.
It's just sugar. It's like cotton candy.
It is not like cotton candy.
Yeah, it is. It's like cotton candy.
I mean, it's just too small part, but...
It's the end of the day. Forgive me for my not very thorough, I'm sure, review. I'm giving this, I want to say a 4, but a 4 feels like a little high, so I'm going to say a 3.75. I really liked how we explored relationships and community and like the history of this place and all of the people and the family and how people like remember each other and like work together for a greater goal. I really enjoyed that. Apparently this has been pitched as a romance to a lot of people, which is interesting. Once you get actually into it, it's not a romance. I think there's this beautiful connection between these childhood friends and you can imagine their future, but it's definitely not the focus of the story. I guess at the beginning it kind of feels like that's what it's going to be, but I really liked following their connection, but also just her connection with everyone. Oh, the author's name.
Hi everyone, I'm Nakia Lucier.
Mikia Lucier. Okay. I don't think I ever fully watched Moana, but I do remember there being something to do with the tattoos in it that reminded me of what was happening in here. It was super interesting, and I wish that that had become more of the story. I just, in general, wish that this was 100 more pages. Like, I wish there was 50 more pages added in here and 50 more pages added in here. It wrapped up really nicely in a way that felt younger YA, that just had like a good lesson, and then everything worked out in the end and everybody worked together and everyone was happy. But because of a couple things that occur, some more extreme like dangerous situations, and with especially one scene near the end where something sad happens, it then doesn't really feel like that audience would be the one in mind. It's tough because it's like cozy and difficult things are happening at the same time. But if you're going into it thinking it's going to be just fun, cozy, and light, and you like, you know, animals and cutesy things and companions, then you might not like some of the direction that it goes. I can definitely appreciate the pace as it is intended for teens, and it's a standalone, and it's just like, you know, the story is paced well. I can say objectively, things are always happening. It was interesting, but as an adult, I like want so many more pages. I want a series, and I don't even read series, but I just don't think we spent enough time really understanding certain magic things, even certain things to do with the sea dragons. As far as how much the dragons were present in this type of a dragon story, they were a driving force behind the plot, but it wasn't like they felt like characters of the story. So I would put it like in the middle of the dragon range of how much I felt like they were a part of the story. Even if I had loved this and given it 5 stars, I wouldn't now consider myself a lover of a dragon story because they weren't necessarily present in the way that I think a lot of dragon books do them. I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed, and then I think in a couple days I'll read something else and I'll update you, and it'll be great. Okay? Today is the day for A Natural History of Dragons. I'm halfway through, and I think I have some thoughts to share at this point, so I figured I would update you. What's happened since I saw you last? I spent like 3 days editing and putting together this video. Do I have a hair? I have a hair on my face. For my channel members, with recommendations for their Enneagram sign and zodiac. There's like literally 500 books that I had to assign to different people. So I've been focused on that. And then I got like 5 hours of sleep that night, and I still had to get up a Wednesday video. So then I filmed this Wednesday video that people are commenting that it's a little chaotic, and I agree. That was the video plan regardless. I just think the way that I filmed it could have been a little more normal. Anyway, now this dragon vlog is gonna go up this weekend, and we're on book number 2, so we'll see how everything shapes up. This is a story of Isabella, and she, at the beginning of the book, when is this set? Did it give me a year? I feel like it didn't, but she is in a time in history where especially relationships began without really knowing somebody, and you were, you know, given to a man. It just so happens that hers worked out really well, and the man that she was interested in was interested in her, and it all worked out. She has had this obsession with dragons, wanting to learn about dragons, but as a woman in society at this time, that's not something that would have been open to her at all. And she spent her childhood, you know, stealing books from her dad, trying to learn about all the things she wasn't allowed to learn about. And she has help along the way. She's in a very fortunate position all the time, and it's a feel-good kind of story where her brother's willing to help her out when her dad finds out that she was stealing the books, like he knew all along. The man that she gets involved with, he has this incredible library of books where she also gets to learn, and he lets her on these expeditions with him. And so that's how the book kicks off, is she gets into this marriage really quickly, and she pushes to be invited on this expedition to learn more about the dragons. And he's coming at it from the perspective of, like, everyone in society is going to think that I'm a terrible husband. It's not that he doesn't want to support her. It's that he worries about how other people will think of him and her if he allows her to be in this, like, unsafe situation. But she pushes, and she's very kind and lovely, but really knows what she wants and gets what she wants throughout the story. So it feels, like I said, it's feel good. And what I like about it is it's told from, like, the future, and it's told direct to reader. And I like that kind of story because you know that everything turns out well in the end. And also it's just fun because she references things as if you are in the fictional story yourself. She's like, you know all about these dragons already if you've read my other books. I'm just an old lady now, but you're gonna meet me when I was much younger and I was much more beautiful, and, like, all of these things. And much like Emily in Emily Watt's Encyclopedia of Fairies, she is building a history of dragons, just like the history of fairies. I was much more interested in the fairies. Like, I'm still, as much as she's talking about the dragons, I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in learning about them and, like, the membranes of their wings and the bones, and I wish I cared, but I don't. But I like that she's treating me as if I do, because if I'm picking this up, obviously I'm interested. Like if I were a fictional person in this fictional story. But also her similarities to Emily or Veronica and Veronica Speedwell, or the Ornithologist Field Guide to Love, this collection of, like, historical things that I've been into. Those are so much more romantic. Like, I wish they had the same kind of banter or fun dynamic. They don't. They're just very, like, supportive and loving of each other. It doesn't feel like romance, and I don't think in the synopsis it even talks about him as a character. But what I'm saying is all of these women in all of these stories have this passion, and they are fighting for their right to study it, to learn about it, and they get into unsafe circumstances because of the pursuit of knowledge. And I just love that. I love following it. She gets in trouble. A lot of these women, like, they end up getting kidnapped. They are in precarious situations. They might have to be saved, or they save themselves, but it's all because they were so curious. They wanted to know something. They wanted to follow someone into the forest. They wanted to learn something, and they do end up learning, even though dangerous things are happening to them. But it is all light and cozy. Like, you know everything's going to turn out okay, obviously, because you're reading from her, you know, years later. I got this bookmark. I can't remember if it was for my birthday or Mother's Day, but Rob picked it out for me, and I think it's literally so pretty. And the pink matches my shirt. I think this is my first time using it. Now, with all of that said, I'm not loving this. I love the idea of it. I like the concept. I'm having a fine time. I by no means want to DNF it, but I just don't think it's going to end up being more than a 3.75. So it feels like a little bit of a waste, but I do like being in this time period and reading from authors who are kind of critiquing it and making sure to highlight people who wouldn't have had the ability to do whatever they want, but they do get to do whatever they want. Because I just spent so much time doing this Enneagram and Zodiac stuff, I'm thinking like I want to pitch this to a certain Enneagram. I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely for type 8s because we want to see people succeed. But she's very much a type 5 because she wants to gain all of this knowledge. But does she want to gain all of the knowledge for like safety? Because that's what a type 5 does. Like, what is her core motivation? And what Enneagram would she actually be? Maybe I don't know. I'm eventually going to turn this side of my brain off, but I can't stop thinking about it right now. What am I doing today? I think I'm just reading this. And then Liam has baseball tonight and tomorrow and the next day. So I'm very excited to go watch him play. And I'm going to try to finish this before we go. And then maybe while we're there, I can read something else. Do you think I'm going to pick up like the Dragon Cafe or the little novella that I have? Maybe if the Dragon Cafe one doesn't give the romance that I want, I might pick up Dragon's Bride, which I don't think I even talked about in the intro, but I feel like a dragon romance could be a bad idea or a really, really good idea. Of the coloring book I was using? Lala Friends? I'm Lala. You're the friends. This was just published by my favorite coloring book like brand, Coco Wayo. It's a group of illustrators, and they came out with one literally last month that has dragons, and it's called Lala Friends. The Lost Away coloring book. It's so crazy. So there's my dragon picture that I finished while listening to the last like hour of this on audio because I wanted to check it out. Everyone said that it's really good, and I do agree. If you want to read this, if you're interested, I would definitely recommend the audiobook because it reads like a memoir. It sounds like you're listening to, you know, the actual person telling the story, and it's fun. It's a 3. I can definitely see why this seems like something that I would like, but and I don't know how to navigate. I've been trying to think of like why this wasn't for me, but Emily Wilde is. For one, there needs to be something that I care about beyond the research into something I don't care about, because I don't even like reading about fairies. Like, they are a mythological creature that I don't care too much about. But if they are one of the main characters, then I can get on board. Bless you. If you're regularly interacting with the mythical things, like they are the side characters, they're the community that you're going and you're talking to, maybe that's what I'm more interested in. Just human beings in a historical setting, Victorian-ish era, just talking about the dragons and learning about the dragons, like that's not interesting to me. And I like Lady Trent as a character enough to finish the book, but she, as much as she, yes, has the same drive and passion, it wasn't the same like quirky kind of writing style, or one that's full of a lot of footnotes that just feels like a fun read. She does go on a lot of like adventures, and at the end of this, I definitely understand why it wasn't so much a romance, and I'm interested to see like what's going to happen in future books in the series. Not enough to read them, but I wonder if there is a kind of romantic plot to come later. So while I still like the concept and remain that following a woman in a time where women have to fight to be involved in something, that's something that I enjoy. There was nothing really about this that I loved. I didn't like learning about the dragons. I didn't have anything else going on that I was captivated by. Like there were no relationships or friendships or the writing style. Like there was nothing for me to grab onto that makes me like reading in spite of it being about a topic that I don't like. Does that make any sense? I hope so. All in all, I thought it was fine. If there was introductions of other themes, then I would have liked it more. I definitely understand why people do like this and would recommend it to me and all of that. I read one other book I didn't actually tell you about because I think I often forget that one of my all-time favorite books is actually about a dragon, and that's The Paper Bag Princess. So I don't really have a review for you for this, but I absolutely adored it as a child, and Robert Munsch as an author. And I've said it before, wanted to dress up as the Paper Bag Princess for Halloween, but it just requires wearing a paper bag. And that's a little bit cold for Canadian Halloween. But this one perhaps was my first time ever reading about a character who thought she knew what she wanted and then figured out through a series of trials that she actually was strong and independent on her own and didn't need the prince. But along the way, she does get burnt by a dragon. It's very scary. My honest recollection of this is that it was an actual story. Like, there's only, like, was this really the book that I read when I was a child? Because in my mind, it was like more pages. There was more of a story. There was more like text on the page. And so I'm wondering, is this a board book that came from a longer story and was turned into this? Or is this what it was all along? Is this what I read all along? Because it's so short and I was a little surprised. But I'm gonna keep my 5-star rating of this. So if nothing else, a 5-star dragon book did come of this video. It happened when I was in like 2nd grade and it's happening again now. Since romance adjacent books have been going well for me lately and I haven't yet read one for this video, I think today is for the romance. And I'm going to, well, I already have started reading The Baby Dragon Cafe as like the sweet, kind of more wholesome romance. And then I'm also gonna try out Dragon's Bride as the other romance because that one's going to be steamier. So in here we have Saphira, and she runs a cafe for people, but it allows baby dragons in, and that's something that her town really wants to find more of basically. So she gets like tax credits and stuff for running this business that allows the baby dragons to come in and a place for them to hang out and feel safe and whatever. Kind of like people who have dogs and they're like always looking for, you know, dog friendly places to go. It's kind of like that. But the dragons are doing more harm than she can afford. Like people have insurance against their dragons and that's really great, but sometimes a dragon will just like bite through something and literally ruin a piece of equipment in the cafe that costs thousands of dollars. So she's in a bit of an awkward financial position. She has this passion for these dragons. She's always wanted one, but she doesn't own one because most people who own them come from like dragon families. Like you're established that you just have the dragons or you don't. So with this business that she loves running, she gets to hang out with dragons and it's like the perfect situation for her, but the finances aren't great. So this random day, she meets this guy on the street with a baby dragon who he cannot like contain. He was gifted this dragon by a deceased family member who he's really grieving. And so getting close to the dragon and training it is something that he is hesitant to do and also comes with a lot of emotions. So when she sees him struggling, they strike up this deal where she trains his baby dragon. And he assumed that meant he was just gonna drop it off at her cafe and just like leave it there all day. And she was like, no, you need to be more involved. Like you have to connect to this dragon. And he's like, I don't really want to do that. And then she's like busy running her business. One thing I'll say so far that I'm really liking is that it's businessy. Like there are so many books where the person is taking over a family business or starting up a business or just working in their job seems really interesting. We don't get to know anything about it. That's a common complaint of mine. This one, we get a lot of business stuff, like the equipment she wants to buy and how much it costs and like where she's getting her money and who does her taxes and all this type of stuff. Maybe that wouldn't be for everybody. Yeah, at this point, I really don't know what people don't like about it because it has a low average rating and I'm just interested to see like what people might not be jiving with it for. I will say the guy's like a little too grumpy. He just doesn't seem likable at all. But then Saphira, I keep wanting to call her Serafina. Saphira seems very enamored by him, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense because he's not very nice. His name's Aiden, and I feel like the entire synopsis, that's what we have now gotten to at 100 pages in, and now it'll turn into whatever else their relationship will spark. So I'm going to take a pause on that, and I'm going to read the first like maybe 50 pages of A Dragon's Bride, because I actually think this one's pretty short. It's under 300 pages, I want to say, and I want to maybe buy it because I know that I don't really traditionally like listening to romance or erotic novels. So if I do like what's happening in the plot, I'm going to go want to buy it. And there's one copy left at my local bookstore. So Liam has a baseball game in just a couple hours. So I want to know before I leave the house if I want to go pick that up. And then we have 2 dragony romances in one day. This is the dragons are what bring them together, and this one she's literally in love with a dragon, and I feel like that will be good for the video, for the concept, for the exploration, because I've read things about like dragon companions or dragon research, but I haven't read where the main character is a dragon, or one of the the love interest is a dragon. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna make this update quick because it's hot in here and I will sweat through the material of this shirt. I just got this order from Torrid. I haven't ordered online from them in years because they didn't used to have like a flat rate shipping to Canada, and now they have one. So I ordered like a lot of stuff and I hate it all. Like every single item that I got does not fit me as I thought it would, doesn't look good on me. I'm a little upset about it, but I was like, I'll just wear this anyway, even though like I don't like the color on me. And I thought I would, because I have this shirt that's red and white stripes. It's like the same red, but I feel like I look like I work at Target. Nothing wrong with working at Target. I don't want to look like I work at Target. Maybe it's like the jeans that I'm pairing with it. I don't know. There's something off. This might be like a thumbnail only shirt, but the quality is not great. It's very thin and like kind of a shiny feeling. Do you know what I mean by that? I feel like you do. Anyway, I did indeed stop at the bookstore and get The Dragon's Bride because I like it. It's reminding me a little bit of, not that I've read too many like monster romances, is that what you call this? But so it's reminding me of Kimberly Lemming and just the kind of like safe environment that's created. We have a character who's getting out of a difficult situation, like a bad relationship, and makes a deal with a demon to be like auctioned off to a monster, but the monster is like kind and thoughtful and loving and just wants like her to be happy, and all the rules in this world are that you can't be forced to do anything you don't want to do, so everything is consensual and everything is safe and happy. There's a car pulling in. Let me just pretend to be on the phone for a minute. No, for sure. I'm not just sitting in here instead of going to the baseball game. The other baseball parent isn't gonna think I'm weird. Oh, I think they're up against a red team, and now I look like I'm supporting the red team. But what do you think about, and then what do you think about, and then what do you think about? A leather jacket to baseball? It's May! You're gonna be hot. We have the same jeans on. Anyway, the only thing about this is that it feels a little heavy-handed, I guess, but it's only because we're from a first-person perspective. So we're following, what's her name? The guy's name is Saul, or the dragon. Briar. Oh, because it's first person, we never really hear her name very much, I guess. I totally forgot what it was. But Briar, we're in her mind, and she seems very self-aware, or like very healed already. And that, I don't know if that feels like a genuine amount of time, and like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying that this feels like it's going to be a healing process for her. Like another author handling it would be like, oh, now she feels safe, and now she's learning all of these things, and now she's healing from harm, and that's what this relationship does for her. But I think that the author just so badly wanted to give us that message, and since we have a main character, we're just hearing it from her, and so she feels very healed already. So everything she's saying is great. They're great messages for the reader. They're like, oh, if he gets angry, I know that it's not a reflection of my behavior, it's on him. And like those things are being said a lot, and I feel like that's great, but I don't know if it feels authentically from this character's perspective. If it was from third person, we're getting this kind of overall narrative and idea of this woman and how she's trying to heal, that would make more sense to me. But I definitely haven't noticed any flaws for the story and where it's going. I like all the vibes, so I'm happy with this. This one I have gotten, I said it was gonna be fast and now I'm sweating. I can feel it. This one I got maybe 50 more pages in, and I think I understand why people aren't really liking it, because once we get the setup, which like I said I was fine with, I think I was expecting the book to get either like really like fun and romantic or like emotionally romantic or something, but it's not really giving anything. It's just kind of the same vibe that it was from the beginning. It's like very factual language. It's just like, I feel like this and you feel like this and we're gonna date, and like it's very simplistic, I guess. And I have a feeling that's how it's going to continue, and that's why people didn't really feel much of a connection. I looked at some quick Goodreads ratings and reviews, and they were saying that it reads like YA. I don't think that's right, because that takes away from YA, because YA can be deeply emotional and incredibly well written as well. Maybe what people are saying is it feels like characters are having their first relationship, and so it feels very surface level and simplistic in that way, but that's not always what YA is either. Anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna say about this by the end. The tone at this point is just fine. And I guess I'm caring more about the dragons in here than the other books. So there's that. Because they're cute and they're little and they're just trying to learn about their powers, and her coffee is like roasted by the dragons, and that's fun. I don't know if we're getting to know the dragons really well, but I like the idea of them as if you're going to like a cat cafe and you're just like surrounded by all the cute little things. That's how it feels. So that's a fun element. And which one should I take with me for the game? Which one should I sit in front of the other baseball parents and read? Which one do you think? No, I'm not gonna take either of them. I might pop in the audiobook, because I didn't actually mind the audiobook of The Dragon's Bride. Once it gets smutty, I definitely am not gonna wanna be listening to it. But anyway, I've got my sunglasses, I've got my snacks. If you're like a bean salad girly and a chip girly and you want something that mixes the two, this bag is incredible. There's actually a couple different ones. I have the dill pickle one too, and then I have one on the way. I ordered them all online because this brand, I buy a lot of their like organic chocolate from. I think I've showed you guys before, that I wanted some like snacky things to sit on the field and eat, and this is like the perfect thing for me, and it's really high in protein. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm hot. Do I have a sweat stain? I do! Fuck this shirt. Okay, it's not the shirt's fault, but whatever. I think the most important thing about this vlog is learning about dragons, because I don't know anything about dragons. So in this one I learned about the dragon membranes of their wings. In this one I learned about the baby dragon's scales. In this one I learned that dragons have 2 dicks. He never even used them both at the same time.
A missed opportunity.
What's the point? What's the point of giving him 2? I made an error purchasing this today because I read the beginning and thought, oh, this will be for me. No. Once the steamy scenes began, I got really cringed out. Around like a 3 point something. I thought there would be a plot, and I know that the cover doesn't look like there will be a plot, but I was convinced where the direction, I'm so tired, the direction that the book was going, it felt like it was going to be plot focused, and then it ended up being just about their relationship, and even like the plot beats and the conflicts was all about their relationship and defending their relationship. And like, I'm happy for them, I guess, but I shouldn't have bought this. And now you're all gonna tell me that I shouldn't have bought it. This one I cannot make myself finish, but I'm going to in the morning. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna end the dragon vlog. I unfortunately cannot think of the last time I had so little to say about a book. I don't think this review is going to be helpful to anyone. It definitely got worse as the book went on. I imagine like you write the first chapter of a book, you're really passionate about it, you want to pitch it to people. The next couple chapters need to be equally impressive to get the publisher, you know, on board. And then it felt really phoned in for the rest of it. Like every subsequent chapter, I was like, what are we doing? Like what's happening? Everything started feeling very basic and very simplistic, when you might have thought things were getting more developed with the relationship, or more developed with her own personal journey, more developed with her cafe, more developed with understanding the dragons. Like, it got less. It was like the book was going backwards. You truly could replace, as far as like, because I need to review this as a dragon book, is it a good one to introduce myself to dragons? No. You could have replaced just the word dragon with dog the entire book, and it would have been the same story and wouldn't have needed like any more explanation. That's how little world building we got, or explanation of the dragons and how they were different. It was just like we had different breeds, but they weren't explained beyond like the name of them. And she used the word like Drago instead of Doggo, which was, it's cringy, but like that doesn't make the book bad. It's just like, it felt like a contemporary story about a dog cafe, but you just replaced all the words with dragon. And I'm sure that'll be so many people's jam. It's simple in what could be a good way for some people, because it doesn't require any processing to read. And sadly, I just started to really hate this couple. Like, I think they're cringy. I don't like either of them really, or their dynamic. Like, the setup was intriguing enough, and I didn't have anything that made me dislike it. And then the book started to make me dislike it and dislike everyone. Not in a jarring way, but in like a, that's all we're getting. Like, this is the entire embodiment of this character. These couple conversations and like very simple understanding of his life. I don't really like him then. Like, give me a reason to like him. Oh man, I did not expect it going this way. Like, of all the dragon books, this one should have been the one I liked most because it had the least about dragons. If I'm not on board with the dragons, at least I could be on board for the book, which was my thought process going into it. No. I can't give this a 3. For a long time, I felt like it was going to be a 3. It started out, I was like, okay, a 4, and then it was a 3, and then it was a 2.5. So that's where we're going to land here. Oh, I didn't update you about Liam's game yesterday. He got MVP. He got a little chain to wear. It's hanging on his doorknob. He got a good hit. Want to watch it?
There you go. Go hard. Nice. You got 2, bud. You got 2 at least. Let's go. That boy, Lee.
Great. And now he's out golfing with his dad. He's taking Rob to the golf course for the first time. So I wish them luck there. I'm going to, while they're gone, give myself a dragon tattoo. I thought, how could I make this video a little more dragon-y? So I got dragon tattoos. And I'm gonna play Dress to Impress because I like playing Dress to Impress while I'm listening to audiobooks, and I think the other like 5 books that I have to choose between, I'm gonna read the first chapter or listen to the first of all of them while I play Dress to Impress, and then I'll tell you what each one was about while you watch me play a round of Dress to Impress. And I'm gonna keep playing until I get a dragon round where the theme is something that I could dress up as a dragon, or I will pay myself to do the dragon prompt and everyone will have to be a dragon with me. Where should I put this on my body? I mean, they feel like, yeah, they feel like arm tattoos. Does anyone here, oh, I was gonna say, does anyone here have a dragon tattoo? Let me know. I forgot I had a tattoo on this side already. Can that go around it? No, I gotta put it on the other side. Oh, but that is facing the wrong way. You can see what I would look like with a neck tattoo. Let's do the one that's a little more symmetrical. These come off easily, right? Temporary tattoos. You can just scrub them off, right? Do I have anything I'm doing in the next like 48 hours that this would cause an issue for? I don't think so. I'm about to look either really cool or really stupid. Oh wait, I have a tattoo there already. How's that happened to me twice now? I just don't want his eyes to be like up here. So I do need to put it a little bit lower. It's a chest tattoo now. This is fine. This is normal. Typical Saturday afternoon activities. Where did his face go? Wait, I have a backup. Okay. No regrets, you know? Okay, so the first round of Dress to Impress, the theme was bright. So I just did some light colors and like a floral, pretty situation. And I listened to the first two that felt the most dragon-y. Like they started out with such a good description of dragons. To Shape a Dragon's Breath. I don't know too much of the plot. I just know that it opened with a description of what dragons are and how they function. And this island hasn't seen dragons in generations. And then our main character, I think, is the one who like bonds with an egg or finds an egg and bonds with this hatchling. But everyone has a different idea of how the dragon should be raised or something. I don't think I want to read a dragon book. I think I'm ready to end the vlog, but I feel like a disappointment to everybody who is going to want me to read like the right dragon book. Oh, my battery's dead. Basically, I just feel like a fraud because in all of the other creature videos, I was willing to explore them and I wanted to, and I had books already on my TBR that fit with those creatures. And in this case, people suggested this one to me and really wanted to see me read dragon books, and I don't feel like I'm reading the right dragon books, and I just don't think there's any dragon book that's going to convince me I like dragons. Anyway, so I don't really want to continue in that. And then when women were dragons, this one opened up with a woman or a girl, I don't remember how old she was, who was losing her mother, and her aunt was becoming involved in her family, and there was some like tension and confusion as a young person about what was happening. And then the next chapter, it wasn't technically a chapter, was it? It was like an in-between interlude of a history of dragons, like from a book called A Brief History of Dragons. And I got a lot of information about dragons that didn't make me want to read the book anymore. And the girlies I was up against, they went neon for bright and they killed it, and I flopped. Next were two that were similar in some ways and not very much about dragons, but I'm sure they will come to be. The next theme was 1950s, and I went with as like a neutral toned flapper. Tess of the Road and I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons both have a woman who is getting into a marriage, or people around her are getting into marriages. They're like being given suitors and they feel like left out or not involved. They don't really want to participate in this type of society where you're supposed to select a partner and then life is beautiful. In this one, her sister was getting involved with somebody and she felt a certain way about that. Her father, we learned, married a dragon who was in human form, and that like messed up the family reputation or something. I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. I just didn't really like the writing style of this one. There was a girl who was being set up for this marriage and she wasn't really interested in anybody, and then randomly she was on a walk one day and she met like the perfect suitor and went back to her castle, and she was like, we have to clean out the castle so it's perfect for me and this man to get married, and in order to clean up the castle that involves calling an exterminator to get rid of the dragons, and the exterminator is Robert, and we're also reading from his perspective. So yeah, didn't make me very interested. I liked my look here, but the people who did the cat eye glasses and who like really crushed the theme, they deserve to win. The next round was Birthstone. I didn't actually have a birthstone in mind. I just really wanted to do like a whiny Merlot gold combo. So that's what I did. And I listened to the first chapter of Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making. There were no dragons in that, but it was about this girl leaving home and entering into this magical world. There's a lot of rules to learn, and we learned some of the rules. That one was probably the most intriguing, but I still don't think I'm very interested in it. And then I tried to listen to the beginning of The White Dragon, and it was just like a lot. So then I went back, I found an audiobook of the first book, I forget what it's called, and it was so info dumpy. And it was just like, here is the entire fantasy, high fantasy world that we're in, and here are the dragons and blah. And I didn't even get through the first chapter because it was just a lot. And I don't think I want to read that. I didn't win that round. Everyone else's was just prettier than mine, and I didn't actually tell them the birthstone that I had in mind because I didn't have one. Then the next round was horror, and I was like, this is going to be my only chance to dress like a dragon without buying the theme. So I decided to put on, it looks chaotic here because I had a vision in my mind, and after it I just needed to change all the colors and like adjust everything. I knew I wanted like glowing eyes and a glowing mouth, and so I made that happen. But there were a bunch of things that I just couldn't get to because I didn't realize how much time it would take me to build a dragon. So I didn't win horror, but I got in one of the top position, not on the podium, but like I did okay. And then in the next round we were supposed to get dressed like food or something, and I finished out my dragon look, so you could see what I was actually going for with the tail, and I like took the cape off and I tried to make things look like they were my teeth. I don't know. I had a good time with that dragon theme. And while I was doing that, I was supposed to be listening to Priory of the Orange Tree. Could not find an audiobook sample anywhere. It doesn't exist. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Everand. So now I need to go read this with my eyes. And I just don't think that this is going to be the one, because even the people who love this say that it's really slow and it takes a long time to get into, even if it's so good. And there are, I can't remember if it's the first book or the prequel, people talk about how there are so many characters and there's like so much to remember and learn. And I just don't know if my brain is there today. So if this first chapter doesn't do anything for me, I am going to just commit to this final novella, because it's a novella and that'll be quick to get through. And I think this will be the most traditionally dragon-esque of anything that I've read for the video. And it hopefully will appeal to those people who were hoping that I would read something in this vein, if not specifically this book. I think as far as dragon stuff, I would be more interested in maybe a surrealist kind of dragon story, something where the dragons are a metaphor. I don't know, but I will get back to you in just a second with my thoughts on these. Hello. I finished Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. This was a 3.75. There were barely any dragons in it, so my rating is not a reflection of the dragons. Our main character, Yiva, is a knight and is always like masked and exists in this world community where she slays dragons, and that's what she does. That's how she exists. That's all she feels like she's worth. And so when she goes to this other land to kind of track down if this other like royal group of people is assisting dragons and like helping them do bad things because the dragons are seen as bad and they need to be killed, she goes to investigate that royal situation in the town. Was it a community? Was it a land? Like, what exactly was it? A kingdom. Okay, there we go. As she goes and investigates, she meets like the royal family and she falls for essentially the monarch. That's them on the cover. This art is absolutely beautiful. I like Neon Yang's style. I'll read more from them. I think it's hard to say if I would like this more if it was longer, because I don't know if that's true, because I don't think I like dragon books. So if you added more pages, there might need to be more dragons. But the reason there wasn't so many dragons is because she's killing the dragons. It's kind of like a looming threat throughout the book. There's a bit of tension building for everyone involved, the reader and the characters, of like when they might encounter a dragon. So I think that's interesting and has a good payoff. I like that this character is masked and they see themselves as just one thing. They have a really rigid kind of expectation of themselves, and getting involved with this woman helps her open up, let her guard down, literally take her armor off and be something else, and understand herself better and be loved. Like, I think that was a really beautiful arc. I think, like I said, the style, the writing, good. It's just like, it wasn't enough. There is something you're building to, and that's very expected, and that kind of, because I expected it, lost the allure of the story. I was kind of like, okay, let's just get to the point. I wanted to enjoy the growth more. I wanted to enjoy the relationship more. I think everything was just good. Like, a 3.75 is a good rating. I wanted to feel more overall. What I do think this could be is a novella series, just because you have this one situation that is solved. There could definitely be a lot of offshoots from this, of other characters or other timelines, like visiting this same kingdom 50 years ago. So I don't know that I personally would pick that up, but I could see this being an entire world and we just get little pieces of it at a time. So for that, it was enjoyable to just get a little glimpse into, because the atmosphere itself and the description was really beautiful. It painted such a vivid picture and I quite liked a lot about it. I think I'm wrapping up the vlog. If you notice that the time is counting down and it's about to end, then you know it's about to end. If there's more time, that means I finished the Prior of the Orange Tree and I put this video off 4 more days. I don't think that's what I'm doing, but I read the first chapter and I am intrigued. I really don't think that I can finish this right now. I don't think my mind is in a dragon place or even really in a fantasy place. I think I'm burnt out on this vlog. I'm losing interest in it every day that passes, and I feel really bad about that because I don't know that I've explored all of the dragon books to their fullest potential, or the ones that you would want me to read. My hope was, with reading things that seem more in my wheelhouse than just the traditional really fantastical dragon books, that I would find some wins and I could say, hey, I like dragon books even though they're not like the ones you wanted me to read. But now I'm just feeling all sorts of ways about this vlog. But the opening of this was intriguing to me. We're following a character. I read that first chapter before I read this, so now I don't know if I really have it. But there was a character who like washed ashore, and then there was a couple different characters who were talking about how that person can't be there, and was pushing them to other places, and they ended up on like different lands, different islands. There's like this sickness that outsiders have brought in, and so this entire area has been like locked down and has a very limited amount of people who live on it. But this person washed ashore, and I can't really remember what else happened in that first chapter, but it was intriguing. Like I was interested, but I'm also really loving, I've read so much physically the last couple days that I would want to grab the audiobook. And do I really feel like buying this huge audiobook if I even think there's a potential of me DNFing it? I don't know. It's such a difficult decision to make. So I think I'm just gonna leave you here. I'm gonna commit to like 100 pages right now before I go to bed. And if I'm gonna keep reading, I will stop editing the video and I'll put it off. But if I don't think it's a realistic thing that I'm gonna finish it in the next like 72 hours based on these next 100 pages, then this video is going up as is. So I'll just say bye now. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I don't know how I feel about this vlog, but leave me a comment with another creature. Not even a creature you necessarily want me to read, but just like go find a creature in the emojis and leave it in the comments. So thanks for hanging out with me this week, and I'll see you in like another week with another vlog. Bye!